Well, thank you, Kwaizi, and thank you for being such an incredible, wonderful member of Federal Team Maryland. It's good to be with all of you today. I'm very sorry about the circumstances that bring President Biden to Baltimore, but it's always great to have the President of the United States, Joe Biden, in this great American city, whether it be moments of triumph, a moment of tragedy, or a moment when we are going to grow from tragedy to triumph. Baltimore is a city that President Biden knows well. He's been here many times. He commuted through here from Delaware. As he will tell you, Biden ancestors came from Baltimore, and he knows that this is a great American city. That's what he told me. That's what he told Senator Cardin, Congressman Fume, the governor, the mayor, and all the others who the president called the day this bridge collapsed. And in those calls, he first of all expressed sympathy and support for the families and loved ones of the 6 men that we tragically lost that day. He said thank you to all of the first responders, the city level, the state level, and the federal level, recognizing the sacrifices they were making, putting themselves in danger as is being done right now in terms of the divers and others. But that day, he thanked those who helped prevent more people from dying in this tragedy. And he pledged to do everything in his power to help every single person impacted by this tragedy, to use the full power of the office of the presidency and the federal government to help the city. And he didn't only pledge his solidarity. By the time he made those phone calls, he had already ordered the federal government and its agencies to get to work. By that time, the Coast Guard was already on the scene working with other first responders, setting up the unified command. By that time, the president had already ordered the Army Corps of Engineers to begin to figure out how we're going to reopen the port by clearing the channel. By that time, he was also already working to find a way to make sure that the federal government steps in to help cover the costs of building a new bridge. The city of Minneapolis lost a big bridge in 2007. America came together to help them, and the president has said America will come together to help Baltimore and Maryland at this time. And his team was already on it. You're going to hear from Secretary Buttigieg. I got a call from him at 3 a.m. that morning, and it was just one example of how the president's team sprung into action. The funds and setting up the funding for replacing the bridge through the emergency relief program. You already heard that $60 million has come to the city of Baltimore and Maryland to help deal with the impact of traffic pattern changes. And the president and his team will be working with us, first of all, to make sure that through that emergency relief program, the federal government pays 90% of the costs, and they're going to work with us to commit to the president's pledge of 100%. Senator Cardin, Congressman Fume, and I will be introducing legislation together with the administration to do that in the coming days. And finally, while the president has been doing all of this, first and foremost was to help with the people who are most impacted by this tragedy, the families of the 6, making sure we put our arms around and thank the first responders, and of course help all those thousands and thousands of people who are impacted by what's happening in the Port of Baltimore as we clear the channel, including the longshoremen that we met with, many of us, just a short time ago. The Small Business Administration is providing emergency loans to every small business impacted by this. The Acting Secretary of Labor has been in Baltimore pledging support for the workers who are not getting paychecks because of what's happening. Tom Perez out of the White House has been here as well. So the president has committed to 3 things. Number 1, partnership, working with our terrific governor and the governor's team, working with our mayor and the county executives, working with the federal level and all levels of government to get it done. And the message he has said from the beginning is we have to be there for the people most impacted by what happened. That has been the president's North Star. That's his North Star in Baltimore. That's his North Star in Maryland. That is his North Star for all of the American people. So I'm so proud that we have the president coming back to Baltimore. Sorry about the circumstances, but he will show that America always rises to the occasion, and we will make sure that we come out of this strong. And one of the people who's been leading the way at the federal level has been the head of Federal Team Maryland. Ben Cardin may not be running for re-election, but I can tell you he is running 24/7 to help the great city of Baltimore and Maryland in this hour of need. He has been a great partner. He's been a great friend.